I imagine you saw the Viking ship when you came in here. That wasn't with us on the plane or something like that. We didn't bring it. It was actually here already, and it's got quite a fascinating story to it. So I would like to have Greg Shelton, who is the builder of this Viking ship, to come up and speak to you about that. Please, Greg. Yeah.
Check. Thank you very much, Gary. I appreciate that. So the ship that's out there has a story behind it. It's not a wonderful story, and I don't want to take up too much of your time because I don't want to be the person that stands between you guys and lunch. But the story quickly is that boat was handmade by myself. And I'm not a woodworker. I had a friend support me, but it was designed, and it was designed in the sense to celebrate a friend that I lost, a gentleman who was in the tech world, a close friend, a Norwegian brother of mine, even though I'm not Norwegian. His name was Kjell Hegstad. We both spent a lot of time at ING Direct Bank. I ran a marketing team. Kjell ran a mobile platform team. And I learned a lot about Norwegian heritage spending time with him. And we did a lot of great things together. And we did spend some time in what you guys are doing. And I found just a passion from him in the healthcare space, because a lot of tech guys, a lot of art guys tend to not look that way because they don't think it's sexy. They don't think it's interesting. It's loads of feel-good things, but a lot of people that are in the tech industry tend to go away from that, but it's what really, truly matters. To kids, to grown-ups, to the older generation, it is insanely important as the job that you guys do every single day. So we lost Kjell as a friend and as a work partner. I did not know that he was ill. As I did, I don't think anyone else knew that he was ill. He was a champion. He was a tough guy, very similar to these Norwegian guys. Super strong, mentally fit. They won't tell you when they have problems. They keep things very simple, but they're insanely passionate people, and that's what I learned from him. So when he passed, I was absolutely gobsmacked. I could not believe that he was ill. So I wanted to pay respects to him and his family. So the first thing I did was, as an art guy, was to work on an art project. So I figured out what a Viking ship looked like, and I called a buddy, and we made it all out of wood, and we even used a college kid to help us make 3D printed dragon heads from the front and the back. And that was what Kjell was. He was an old school guy mixed with an insanely modern guy, which I think, to me, is the bookends of what makes a great human being. So when we lost him, I worked with a lot of his friends and family to put together a celebration of life. And I will cut to the chase. So we did a big celebration of life, and I asked people to donate money. And then we had this chunk of money, and I had a couple of guys that supported me on the event. And I'm from Delaware, so we did it in Wilmington, Delaware. And then it came time after the event, 100 people showed up. It was wonderful. And then at the end of the day, we decided, as a team, where is this money going to go? We have some money. We want to make sure that people better themselves from it. And what we decided to do as a team was donate the money to the Children's Hospital, the Nemours Children's Hospital in Wilmington, Delaware. Kjell and I worked on a proof of concept. Believe it or not, does anyone remember Google Glass, by the way? I don't know if that's even a thing. And anyway, so we did a proof of concept with those guys, which was exciting. So when I called them to say, look, we have a chunk of money. We want to donate this to you guys. And the first question they told me was, Mr. Shelton, do you know where in the hospital you would like the money to go? So I, of course, had no idea. I just wanted to give them a check and have it move on. So because I didn't have a plan, they said, well, what we normally do is we would take that chunk of money and disseminate it to the teams that really need it. There's always teams that get the visibility, and there's a lot of teams that do not. And the team that they decided on and wanted to pitch to me was a creative education team. And I found that interesting, so I said, that sounds good to me. As a creative, I thought that was the perfect scenario. So when he started to give me the background of what that team does, they do music, they do art, and they had a team that they hired a college professor whose skill set is building video games. So when they mentioned his name was Scott Shaw, and Scott is a friend of mine. I had no idea he was moving on from Nemours because he was a professor. So I immediately called him. I said, listen, Scott, congratulations on your new gig. It sounds wonderful. They sent me a kind of a portfolio to learn about it. And then when I mentioned to him that Shell had passed away, he had no idea that Shell was sick. And he was, just like myself, very, very disappointed and didn't know where to go. And then we continued the conversation, and he said, Greg, I want you to know that Shell was the one that got me the job at Nemours. So for me, it connected this human loop where I was insanely passionate to make sure that not only his name is remembered, but we spread the word as much as we can. So that Viking ship will go on display with the check that we provide at the Nemours Children's Hospital in Wilmington, Delaware, for those kids to educate themselves about the heritage of Norway, what they do, what they like, what they don't like, and to better themselves through education with it. And I couldn't be happier. And for me today, and Frode and the Pleatley team invited me here, not just because it was a cool boat, I hope, but it was kind of a cool boat. But anyway, I am asking a favor from each of you guys, if you don't mind. There is a QR code there. We are trying to get over a threshold to donate $10,000. We're about almost 75 to 80% there. And that will enable us to give that amount to the Nemours Children's Hospital. And that would be insanely exciting. And again, if that happens, then we will cease for that amount and then take that to Nemours. So there's a QR code with a poster out by the boat. Stop and check it out. I will be sticking around for a little bit if anyone has any questions about any of the things that I highlighted, and I would appreciate you guys considering it. And I have to say, more importantly, as a guy who's not quite in the healthcare space anymore, this is a beautiful event, and you guys should give yourself a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you, Frode. Thank you.